I'd lost 10 years of my memory. I woke up to find my high school arch nemesis, the queen bee herself, was now my wife. Not only had I married Chloe Miller, but we apparently had 2 kids together. This was a freaking nightmare. Ms. Miller, your husband's out womanizing again. When I came to, guys and girls were grinding all around me. The neon lights were blinding, the music deafening, and the reek of smoke and stale booze was giving me a killer headache. The last thing I remembered, I was ditching after-school detention, sneaking off to a gaming lounge with my buddies. How the hell did I wake up? And the gaming lounge had turned into a club. What was going on? Could someone please explain this to me? Just as I was trying to get my bearings, the phone in my pocket started buzzing like crazy. Who is it? So damn annoying. Can a guy have some fun? I grumbled. I pulled out my phone and glanced at the caller ID. 2 bold words stared back at me. Wifey. Me? What kind of messed up joke was this? I was a high schooler. Where would I even get a wife? Still, curiosity got the better of me, and I hit answer. An ice-cold, unforgiving female voice came through the line. Liam Evans, you have 10 minutes. If you're not home, I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life. The voice, it was familiar yet strange. I wasn't quite sure. Is that you, Chloe Miller? What? You don't even recognize your own wife anymore. Chloe's tone was already laced with impatience. But as her sworn enemy, no way was I going to back down. Whose wife are you calling yourself? Chloe Miller. You better explain yourself. Damn it. Fine. Liam Evans, you just wait, mister. We are so not done here. Chloe hung up. I scoffed. Who knew what kind of crazy pill she'd taken tonight? Totally nuts. Half an hour later, some go-go dancer in a skimpy outfit was grinding against me. The way she moved those hips, man, it was exhilarating. If this was a dream, I hoped I'd never wake up. Suddenly, I felt a sharp kick to my ass, nearly sending me sprawling on top of the dancer. I whipped around and locked eyes with a glacial-looking Chloe Miller. The way she was dressed now was a universe away from the innocent queen bee I remembered from high school. She had meticulously done makeup, full-on eyeliner, and everything, and was wearing a pair of towering stilettos. If our old homeroom teacher, the dragon Mrs. Peterson, saw this, she'd be calling our parents for sure. Even if you were valedictorian, you couldn't just go wild like this, a business suit and heels. Is that what a high schooler should be wearing? It's ridiculous. Could it be that Chloe, who always had her nose buried in books, had finally decided to let her hair down in a big way? Judging by her outfit, her boyfriend must be bad news. Whoever he was, if I ever got my hands on him, I'd tear him limb from limb. Hitting on a Chloe Miller, he's had a death wish. Staring into Chloe's dark eyes, I felt a surge of annoyance mixed with surprise. What did you kick me for? You're wearing stilettos. Those things hurt, you know. Chloe, clearly furious, turned her wrath on the dancer next to me. You were grinding on him. The dancer, pale with fright, looked down and didn't dare say a word. The next second, Chloe slapped the dancer hard across the face twice. You shameless, how dare you try to seduce my husband? You're asking for it. The dancer's hair was a mess, and she stood there trembling. Instantly, all eyes in the club were on us. The club manager and a few bouncers rushed over. Seeing their aggressive approach, I tensed up. This could get ugly fast. If they called the cops, Chloe could get arrested. If she got a record, I wonder if it would mess up her college applications this year. After all, she'd assaulted someone on their turf. The manager had a reputation to uphold. He wouldn't just let it slide. I just hope we could pay our way out of this, keep things from escalating. If worst came to worst, I'd have to drop my dad's name. Hope it would be enough to calm things down. I tugged on Chloe's sleeve and whispered, Chloe, that was way too impulsive. You should apologize to the manager. Try to smooth things over. You know, pick your battles. Live to fight another day. But Chloe's frown deepened and she shot me an even more impatient look. Why are you running your mouth so much? We'll settle this at home. Settle this at home? Who's home? Settle what? I've never seen this side of Chloe in my life. One minute she's calling me her husband, the next she wants to go home with me. Wasn't she the school's untouchable ice queen? Why was she acting so desperate tonight? Had you been drinking? I sniffed discreetly. Didn't smell like it. We grown up together after all. Seeing her like this, I felt conflicted. Finally, I shook my head and refused. It's already so late. It wouldn't be right for me to go home with you. How about tomorrow? I'll get some of my guys, you get some of your girls, and we can all hang out after school. bond a little. Chloe froze. In that moment, she probably thought I'd completely lost my mind. The club manager, flanked by his guys, swaggered over. "Who's the who hit Lexi?" "I did." Chloe's voice was like ice. The moment the manager got a clear look at Chloe's face, his attitude did a complete 180. Well, if it isn't Ms. Miller, what an honor to have you here." The manager dragged Lexi over and they both started apologizing profusely to Chloe. Chloe didn't even bother to look at them. She just grabbed my hand and pulled me straight out of the club. I was still just a high school kid, at that awkward, easily flustered age. Her grabbing my hand like that made my face burn and my heart race. If we weren't such notorious rivals, I might have actually thought I was falling for her. The car soon pulled up in front of my house. My eyes went wide as saucers. I was floored. Chloe said she wanted to go home with me. She meant my home. She's calling me husband, holding my hand. If my parents saw this, they'd skin me alive. While I was still processing, Chloe, still holding my hand, led me into the living room. A few new housekeepers saw Chloe holding my hand and didn't seem surprised at all. They all bowed slightly, calling us Mr. Evans and Mrs. Evans. Mr. Evans, I could understand that was me, but Mrs. Evans, where did that come from? Chloe asked one of the housekeepers. "How's Leo doing?" The housekeeper replied, "He just took some fever reducer and he's asleep now." I thought for a moment, then asked curiously, "Leo, is it your dog?" An English name would sound classier. Chloe shot me a furious glare. "Liam, what is wrong with you tonight?" "What's wrong with me?" I almost laughed out of sheer frustration. I should be asking you that. First, you call me your husband. Now, you drag me to my own house. Chloe, what the hell are you trying to pull? A wave of inexplicable sadness washed over Chloe's face. What am I trying to pull? Leo's sick and he's asking for his dad. What am I supposed to do? You don't care about the company. You never come home. All you do is party and chase women. Look at yourself, Liam. Look what you become. Aren't you ashamed of what people must be saying? I just stood there stunned. The housekeeper looked at Chloe with such sympathy, like Chloe was the most wronged woman in the world. I swallowed hard, tried to recover from shock. Wait a minute. Leo needs his dad. So, you come looking for me? I'm not about to get suckered into playing daddy for some kid I don't even know. Before I could finish, Chloe slapped me across the face. It stung. A burning sharp pain. Damn. She didn't hold back. I exploded. Chloe, are you crazy? What did you hit me for? Just then, a little girl in pajamas came running down the stairs. Mommy, Daddy, why are you fighting again? My teacher says families should be happy and not fight all the time. The little girl looked like a porcelain doll, her big, watery eyes fixed on me. It seemed like she wanted me to apologize to Chloe. I crouched down and couldn't resist. Gently pinching her cheek. You must be Leo, huh? You're way cuter than your mom was when she was little. The little girl put her hands on her hips, stomped her foot, and glared at me, puffing her cheeks. Daddy, I'm Lily. Leo is my brother. You picked her names, remember? How could you forget? Daddy doesn't love me anymore. I turned to meet Chloe's piercing gaze. I gave an awkward toothy grin. This little rascal, such a liar. When did I ever name her? Lily looked heartbroken, tears instantly welling up in her eyes. Mommy, Daddy really doesn't love me anymore. Chloe picked up the child, her jaw tight. Liam, are you seriously going to deny your own daughter now? I flared up instantly. Chloe, what is your deal? I'm a high schooler. Where'd I get a daughter this big? If you're going to make up stories, at least make them believable. Chloe let out a humorless laugh. You a high schooler? You'll be 30 after New Year's. You really think you're still 17 or 18? I was completely floored. What? I'm almost 30. The housekeeper standing nearby chimed in. Yes, sir. Your 30th birthday is in 2 months and today is your 6th wedding anniversary? With Madam. Wait, 6th wedding anniversary? I bolted to the bathroom and stared at my reflection. It was still my face, but the man in the mirror looked much older, much more mature than the 18-year-old me. Had I really married Chloe Miller and had 2 kids with her? I rushed upstairs into my bedroom, then out again and into my dad's study. I quickly scanned the entire upstairs and downstairs, then came back. I walked up to Chloe. She saw the pale shock on my face. I opened my mouth, but it took a while for any sound to come out, and when it did, my voice trembled. Everything's changed. It's completely different from when I was a junior in high school. My eyes remained, a mist forming over them. Chloe realized something was seriously wrong. The way I looked, it didn't seem like I was faking it. So she asked tentatively, Liam, in your memory, what day is it today? Without thinking, I said, it's Christmas Eve. You gave everyone else those cool little gift baskets. And I got a single super sour orange. It was disgusting. Chloe looked stunned for a moment. Then her gaze turned complicated. Let's eat first. We could talk about whatever's going on after dinner. It turned out Chloe and I really were married. I hadn't time-traveled, nor was I dreaming. I just lost my memory. At the dinner table, I held my daughter, Lily, in my lap, asking what she wanted to eat and immediately putting it on her plate. Chloe wasn't giving me the cold shoulder anymore. A small smile played on her lips. What are you smirking at? Just eat. I rolled my eyes at her and said, Chloe, annoyed, kicked me under the table. I immediately snapped back. Miller, don't think just because I don't hit women, you can walk all over me. Chloe didn't say anything. Her response was another kick. I didn't enjoy that meal much, mostly because Chloe kept messing with me. As I got ready for bed, my mind was a complete mess. Chloe and I have been rivals for so many years. I never imagined we'd end up sleeping in the same bed. Back in school, she always said I was the person she hated most. She even said she wouldn't marry me if I were the last man on earth. My thoughts were racing when the covers beside me were suddenly pulled back, and Chloe slid into bed next to me. The faint, pleasant scent emanating from her scent shivered down my spine, and I immediately tensed up. Psychologically, I was still an 18-year-old high schooler. That age where hormones are raging, but you're also super self-conscious. I slowly turned my head, looked into Chloe's captivating eyes, and greedily swallowed. Chloe didn't speak, but her arm snaked around my waist. Chloe. I couldn't help but say her name. Chloe seemed a bit startled. After a moment, I voiced a question burning in my mind. How do we even get together over these 10 years? Didn't you say you'd rather become a nun than marry me? What made you suddenly change your mind? Chloe replied, a hint of smugness in her voice. You're the one who chased me. You were relentless. Absolutely insisted on being with me. I said no. And you threatened to jump off a building. What was I supposed to do? I had no choice but to give in. I was deeply skeptical. How is that possible? We were enemies. Why would I chase you? If you didn't chase me, then tell me. Where did Leo and Lily come from? They didn't just pop out a rock, did they? Even if the kids are mine, you must have forced me. You were always so bossy back in school. Quite the opposite. I was the victim here. No way. You the one who never loses an argument. You were forced to marry me. Don't believe me? Definitely not. Well, do you remember anything about what happened back then? I have amnesia. Amnesia isn't an excuse, just a way to dodge responsibility. Chloe gripped my wrist tightly and added, Liam Evans, if you ever dare to mess around with those trashy women out there again, I swear I'll castrate you. I'll never divorce you in this lifetime, but I can sure as hell be a widow. With that, she abruptly pulled her hand back and turned her back to me. Lying next to Chloe, my emotions were a tangled mess. Felt like I was walking a tightrope. Man, I was still so young, so naive about the world. When I woke up the next day, Chloe was already gone. I went downstairs in my pajamas and saw Chloe having breakfast with the two kids. I sat down opposite Chloe and the housekeeper brought me a plate with a piece of boiled chicken breast and 2 hard-boiled eggs. I was speechless. This is what I get for breakfast. I'm not a model. Do I really need to be on such a strict diet? I had no appetite, but picked it a little to keep up appearances in front of the kids. Just then, my phone sitting nearby suddenly buzzed. I opened up WhatsApp and my jaw nearly hit the floor. A woman saved in my contacts as Kanye_Zo had sent me a very sexy selfie. The caption read, Liam, honey, my rent is due soon, and if I don't pay, my landlord going to kick me out. I'll be homeless. Boo-hoo-hoo, cry me a river to get a better understanding of this Kanye_Zo. I scrolled up. Through our chat history, knew each other for less than 4 months, went on 5 dates. Every single date Ken_Zo would come up with some kind of sober story or demand. Today her phone was broken, spent nearly $1,000 on a new iPhone for her. Tomorrow her dress had a tear, dropped a couple hundred on a new one. The day after her purse was lost, another $5,000 for a designer bag, which she treating me like a personal ATM. Still, Candy and Turfox was gorgeous. Totally stacked with smooth, pale skin. If I could, get a good return on a small investment, it wouldn't be a bad deal. Reading through those flirty, suggestive messages, I grinned from ear to ear. So, this was the joy of adulthood, huh? Just as I was smirking at the screen, Chloe stone-faced snatched my phone away. She tapped the screen a few times, and when she handed it back, Candy and Hero was gone. Deleted. I looked up, glaring at Chloe. Why did you delete my contact? Chloe first had the housekeeper take the kids away, then said to me, "You're using the money I earned to support your mistresses." Liam, do you think that's appropriate? Before I could answer, Chloe slipped on her heels and jacket, grabbed her car keys, and walked out the door. Seriously, this woman I learned from the housekeeper that my father had passed away 4 years ago, and my mother had remarried. It was Chloe, working day and night, who had single-handedly kept this family afloat. 10 years, so much had changed, people. The unfamiliarity of it all sent shivers down my spine. I went to my father's grave, left flowers, poured out a drink, and swore I'd restore the Evans family to its former glory. That evening, when Chloe came home from work, I personally cooked a huge spread. Okay, so it looked a bit disastrous and probably didn't taste great, but it was the thought that counted, right? Chloe glanced at it and just said flatly, "What's gotten into you?" Then she went upstairs to the bedroom. I quietly followed her, closed the bedroom door, pulled Chloe into my arms, and kissed her cheek. Chloe's face instantly flushed red, and she shyly pushed me away. "Liam, if you keep this up, I'm calling the cops." "Call the cops? We're legally married?" "Legally married?" "Yes, but you can't just force yourself on me against my will." "When did I go against your will? It's clear you were seducing me. Even if you took me to court, you wouldn't have any proof." Chloe gritted her teeth. "Liam, you are truly shameless." A smirk played on my lips. "If you feel like you got the short end of the stick just now, you can get your revenge. I don't mind a few more kisses." Chloe stomped her foot in frustration. "You disgusting pig. Why don't you just drop dead? If I died, wouldn't you become a widow?" Chloe looked like she was about to hit me. The moment she raised her hand, I grabbed her wrist and pulled her forward. Chloe stumbled right into my arms. Our eyes met. I had to admit, there was a reason Chloe Miller had been the queen bee of our high school. Just looking at her face right there in front of me made my heart skip a beat. Even when she was giving me the cold shoulder, she was kind of cute when she was angry. I just looked at her quietly. Chloe frowned slightly. "I've been really busy with work lately. I don't have time for your games." Chloe, blushing, shook off my hand, walked over to the closet, and picked out a pink silk robe. "So, what's the situation with the company?" I asked while Chloe was eating dinner, sitting beside her. "Can you not bring up annoying topics while I'm eating?" Chloe put down her fork, looking at me with irritation. "I'll help you with the company. You won't have to work so hard anymore." Hearing this, Chloe, far from grateful, just rolled her eyes. "Why don't you sort out your personal life first? Your scandals are practically tabloid headliners." I paused. "That Candy_Zo from before. Didn't you already delete her?" Chloe pursed her lips. That was just the tip of the iceberg. I sucked in a sharp breath. I clearly needed a whole new understanding of my adult self. My grades might have sucked, but I was a dyed-in-the-wool rich kid. Before my dad died, he'd left a will, making me his sole heir. My shares in Evans Corp alone were worth billions. In the eyes of those gold diggers, I was a walking ATM. Everyone wanted a piece of me, young and easily tempted. It was no surprise I was constantly wrapped up in scandals. Chloe glanced at her phone and sighed softly. "What's wrong now?" I asked curiously. Chloe explained, looking troubled. "Miller Corp is having its annual gala tomorrow and they've invited me. If you want to go, go. If not, don't. What's the big deal? If I don't go, people will probably say I've gotten too big for my britches. That I'm looking down on Miller Corp now. Then go. Shut them up. Are you coming with me?" I didn't really want to go, but thinking about the Miller family and their money-grubbing faces, I couldn't help but worry a little about Chloe. "All right, I'm your husband after all. It's only right I go with you." The next day, I went with Chloe to the Miller Corp annual gala. When Chloe appeared arm in arm with me, everyone in the ballroom turned to look. The expressions on their faces were priceless. Why did Chloe bring him along? Not surprising. Better keep him on a tight leash. Stop him from philandering all over town. You know, Chloe's really something. She got control of that huge Evans fortune. She should just turn a blind eye to Liam's extracurriculars. It's normal for a man to have a few women on the side, right? Chloe's just too controlling. She's hostile to every woman around Liam. Marrying into the Evans family was a step up for her anyway. What right does she have to control Liam's private life? Their voices weren't loud, but not quiet either, just enough for me to hear. I figured they were doing it on purpose, showing their hostility and prejudice towards Chloe. I scanned the crowd, memorizing these unfamiliar faces. I sneered inwardly. No wonder Chloe didn't want to come to the Miller Corp gala. How could she feel good listening to all this slander? Chloe pinched my arm hard, then ditched me in the ballroom and went outside to the poolside to clear her head. Not long after, a stunning statuesque beauty walked up to Chloe. "Ms. Miller, there's nothing left between you and Liam. If I were you, I'd divorce him sooner rather than later." A confident smile played on Chloe's lips. "Lord, you're mistaken. Actually, my husband and I are doing just fine. If you're thinking of being the other woman, maybe try your next life." Lauren laughed. "Want to make a bet? If we both fell into the pool right now, who do you think Liam would save first?" Chloe's expression flickered and she fell silent. Lauren took a provocative step forward. "Chloe, do you dare bet?" Loser backs off. Chloe found this both ridiculous and bizarre. "Why on earth would I bet with you? Even if I won, what's in it for me? If you want to make a fool of yourself in front of the Miller crowd, that's her business. Please leave me out of it." Lauren's face darkened for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. Just when Chloe thought the matter was over, Lauren moved behind her and gave her a hard shove. Splash! Chloe tumbled into the pool and immediately began to sink. The next second, Lauren jumped into the pool, too. Lauren thrashed wildly, screaming, "Help! I can't swim." I heard all sorts of screams coming from the poolside. It was autumn. Even if it wasn't freezing, it definitely wasn't a good day for a swim. I saw Chloe struggling desperately, fear etched on her face. I sprinted over as fast as I could and dived into the pool without a second thought. By the time I used all my strength to pull Chloe onto the deck, she was unconscious. I immediately started CPR, pressing on her chest and giving her mouth to mouth. Chloe coughed up a mouthful of water right in my face. I let a long sigh of relief. "Damn, you scared the hell out of me." Lauren, wrapped in a blanket, was standing right beside me. When she saw me giving Chloe mouth to mouth, her face instantly turned pale. "Liam, why did you save her first, not me?" Lauren was beautiful with a smoking hot body and a unique aura. Seductive, wild, glamorous, a completely different type of woman from Chloe, but I had absolutely no memory of her. "Miss, who are you?" Lauren just stared at me, offering no explanation. But in her eyes, I saw anger and disappointment. People around us started whispering. "That woman, I think she's a big movie star." "That's Lauren Vance, the Oscar winner. She's a VIP guest of Miller Corporation. There are rumors she's Liam Evans' mistress. You don't think it's true, Deep?" "Looks like it. Probably true." Sigh. Another beauty wasted on a beast. If I were as rich as Liam Evans, I'd have even more mistresses than him. Chloe's face was pale, but she forced herself to sit up. A smirk played on her lips as she looked at Lauren. "Miss Vance, you're a big star getting involved in someone else's marriage. It's not exactly a good look, is it?" Lauren clenched her fist so tightly her knuckles turned white. The next second, she vented all her anger on me. "Liam, what is wrong with you? Say something for me. Has that despicable woman fed you some kind of love potion again?" My expression was unreadable, but I remained silent. I had amnesia. Even if I wanted to defend her, I wouldn't know where to start. Besides, Chloe was the mother of my 2 kids, for crying out loud. I couldn't just side with an outsider against her, could I? My silence only made Lauren even more frantic. She stared intently into my eyes and continued. "You said we were true soulmates and Chloe only brought you endless misery. You also said Leo and Lily were just an accident. Back then, Miller Corp was on the verge of bankruptcy. She drugged you and got pregnant with your child. You two were never truly in love. It was just her way of forcing you into a shotgun wedding. Her real goal was to use the Evans family's money to bail out Miller Court. And you even told me yourself that even though you and Chloe grew up together, the person she truly loved was someone else." "Someone else?" Boom. My mind felt like it had exploded. A chill ran down my spine and I broke out in a cold sweat. So Chloe had used me. She didn't love me. She married me purely for the Evans family's money. I stood there dumbfounded, my mind a complete blank. Chloe grabbed my wrist, her gaze firm as she met Lauren's eyes. "Miss Vance, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't just say whatever you want. If you continue to try and drive a wedge between my husband and me, watch out. I'll sue you for slander." "Chloe, are you threatening me?" "If I wanted to threaten you, I would have leaked your tax evasion scandal long ago." Why bother with all this drama? Chloe's single sentence made Lauren falter, her face turning ashen. Lauren was afraid of the scandal blowing up, getting exposed online, and ruining her reputation. She grabbed my other arm and said, "When you see sense, divorce her. Don't be soft. I'll wait for you." Then she hurried away. Watching Lauren leave, I was completely bewildered. Who the hell was that woman? Totally bizarre. The moment Lauren was gone, Chloe took my phone and deleted Lauren's number and all her contact info. After that whole fiasco, there was no reason for Chloe and me to stay any longer. Chloe grabbed my arm and we left the ballroom. Sitting in the car, I watched Chloe's profile. Her expression, hidden in the darkness, was hard to read. I wish she would give me an explanation, even if it was just a few insincere words, just to fool me for a while. We sat in silence for a long time. Just as I was about to ask her, Chloe unbuckled her seatbelt, leaned over, wrapped her arms tightly around my waist, and pressed her face against my chest. The car's interior lights were off. The parking lot was silent. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would jump out of my throat. Chloe, dropping all pretense, spoke in his softest voice. "Don't leave me, okay? I'm begging you." It was hard to imagine that Chloe Miller, the ice queen from 10 years ago, had such a tender side. I nervously swallowed and managed to single. "Okay." Chloe, her scheme apparently successful. A hint of a smile in her eyes, sat back in the driver's seat, started the engine, and drove us home. Chloe not only offered no explanation, but actually added more mysteries to the pile. I had no choice but to take my questions and search for answers myself. Over the next few days, Chloe was surprisingly good to me. She personally made me breakfast and even bought me a Porsche supercar and a PC Philippe watch. The once arrogant queen behind every trick in the book to please me. The more she acted like this, the more curious I became, the more desperate I was to unravel the mystery and find an answer. I hired a private investigator. A few days later, the PI told me that after work, Chloe would first go to an apartment. She'd spend over half an hour there each time before coming home. What was in that apartment? Was she meeting a lover there secretly? Lauren had said at the Miller Corp Gala that Chloe was actually in love with someone else. Every time I thought about it, I felt an inexplicable pain in my heart. Maybe deep down, I'd always liked Chloe ever since we were kids and just hadn't wanted to admit it. The PI gave me the apartment address, but I agonized over it for a long time. Finally, I decided to go see for myself. Whatever the truth, Chloe and I couldn't spend our entire marriage living in suspicion. While I got to the apartment door, I paid a hefty sum to a shady locksmith who picked the lock in no time. The moment I stepped inside, I was utterly dumbfounded. The apartment had 3 rooms, and each room was filled with 4 sets of shelving units. Every shelf was packed with men's clothing. Everything from underwear and t-shirts to jackets and coats, and every single item had been worn. The whole apartment reeked of musty, stale sweat. Each shelving unit had a label, but strangely the labels indicated ages from 13 years old all the way to 29 years old. I stood in front of one of the shelves and randomly picked up a shirt. It felt strangely familiar. This was a shirt I'd worn back in my sophomore year of high school. I remember taking it off back then and asking Chloe to wash it for me, but she'd blushed and furiously chewed me out. A couple of days later, she bought me a new one. She'd said at the time, "That shirt reeked of sweat." I threw it out long ago. And now here was that very shirt, inexplicably in this apartment. What on earth was Chloe up to? Then I picked up another piece of clothing. It was mine, too. I walked slowly past the shelves, memories flooding back with each item. I did a full tour of the apartment. Now, I was certain every single piece of clothing in here was mine. Things I had once worn. It was truly hard to comprehend. The Ice Queen, Chloe Miller, spent half an hour every day admiring these smelly old clothes. Could it be Chloe had a fetish? She had a thing for my used clothes, treasuring them like precious gems. Which meant the man Chloe loved was actually me. Thinking back on all our moments from elementary school through middle and high school, it was a classic case of love-hate, a constant battle. On the surface, neither of us would ever back down. But deep inside, we both cared about each other. Lauren said, Chloe married me from Miller Corporation. But she'd overlooked one thing. If Chloe was only in it from Miller Corp, she was now the CEO of Evans Corp, holding all the cards. Why hadn't she divorced me yet? With billions at her disposal, wouldn't she be off living happily ever after with the man she truly loved? Once I figured all this out, my suspicions about Chloe felt like a complete joke. Just as I was standing there grinning like an idiot while holding the shirt, I felt something hit the back of my head. And then everything went black. When I came to, I was still in the apartment, only now my hands and feet were tied with rope. Chloe, wearing black stockings, a miniskirt, and stilettos, stood before me, a sly smile on her face. Her smile held a hint of something wild, almost fanatical, completely different from her usual Ice Queen demeanor. Chloe crouched down and gently pinched my chin. If only you hadn't come here, hadn't discovered my secret. That would have been so much better. Then I could have stayed by your side forever. A smirk played on my lips, a look of playful contempt. Then I easily broke free from the ropes, grabbed Chloe's wrist, and pulled her in my arms. Chloe's face turned beet red, her breathing becoming rapid. Liam, what do you think you're doing? I'm warning you. Don't try anything funny or I'll call the cops. Call the cops? If you really want to call them, you wouldn't have tied my wrist so loosely. Nice try. Playing hard to get with me. Is that how Leo and Lily came about? Chloe's face flushed crimson all the way to her ears. How did you know? I held Chloe tightly, gently nibbling her earlobe. Because I remember everything now. Mrs. Evans, tell me. How should I punish you for this? You're cheating. This one doesn't count. Chloe pouted, looking unconvinced.